Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This will be bot number 20 of the Sim Direction Canon section in the book Opening Tabia by Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Qiang. This will also be the last bot in the section discussing the Sim Direction Canons. Today we will be going over the Sim Direction Canons, Deferred Chariot versus File Chariot variation. It will be a continuation of the video last week, and if you have not seen that video, please do go over it to learn some of the principles of the bot for this opening system. Again, I would like to express my thanks to Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Zhang for allowing me to use their work to make this short video. So without further ado, let us begin. Sim Direction Canons, and red goes for Deferred Chariot variation. Black goes for the File Chariot, since red did not play R1 equals to 2. Red develops the left horse, and black goes for h2 plus 3. Now p3 plus 1 cannot be played, please refer to the previous board. And red goes for the double-headed snake pawns. Now in this board, instead of r1 plus 1, which was discussed in the previous board last week, black will go for the 3-step tiger formation. Now traversing the cannon over here will allow for the chariot to be developed as a file chariot. Now this opening variation started appearing in the 1990s and was quite popular. And it will also be, and red will usually continue with r9 equals to 8 to develop his chariot. Now in the past, h7 plus 8 was also often played. Now the main idea behind this move was to prevent the development of the rank of r1 equals to 2 or this chariot as a file chariot. However, doing so would allow this chariot to attack. Red would try to trade chariots, and if any other move were played, black could opt to choose to trade pawns, and red will fall behind in development. So after trading chariots, because we can see that this horse is now here, this horse has returned to the bottom rank, black could capture the central pawn, and red might lose his central pawn and allow black to attack. So that is why h7 plus 8 might not be so favorable in this situation. So black can only be apprehensive and play r9 equals to 8. And usually black will continue with r8 plus 4 as part of his plans to prepare to trade pawns. This is a continuation of the tactic of playing c2 equals to 1. Now, would it be a good idea for black to play r1 equals to 2? The answer is no, because if r1 plus 2 were played, red's cannon and chariot had already stemmed their control over this file, and if r1 equals to 2 were played, for example, red could easily play c8 plus 4 to form a cannon blockade, and we can see that these two pieces will now have limited the space or development of black's entire right flank, and coupled with the fact that red had already played p7 plus 1 and p3 plus 1 for the double-headed snake pawns, the development of black pieces would fall further behind. So that is why r1 equals to 2 would not be a good move. Instead, r8 plus 4 would be a good idea to try to trade pawns as planned previously, and red would try to prevent that from happening. And at this point, now this would be the main position of discussion for this board. Black would not accept the trade and play r8 equals to 2 to pin the cannon, thus limiting the space. Now there are two main variations, the first of which would be c8 equals to 9, and the other would be to play c2 plus r2 plus 8. So let us see variation A, whereby red would offer a trade of chariots with c8 equals to 9, and black would now counter with r1 equals to 2 to link his chariots up. So after trading chariots, before we continue, let us see the number of effective moves that both colors have made. Red would have played one cannon move, two cannon moves, two horse moves, two pawn moves, and one chariot. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the number of effective moves that red had played would be 7 moves. On the other hand, black would have made two cannon, two horse moves, and two pawn moves. So black would actually fall behind slightly at this point in time. However, the positioning of the chariot is much more favorable than this chariot over here. So this more or less compensates for black's slight loss in initiative. So at this point in time, red would use up one move to adjust his formation. This is often done in preparation for black's trading pawns. This is a tactically wise move to make. Now, if he chose to, would playing r2 plus 8 now be a good idea? Because after all, the pawns had not been pushed, so the horse was more or less trapped and very vulnerable to attack. And let us see. So r2 plus 8, red was prepared to play r2 equals to 3 to attack the horse and elephant at the same time. However, black will first defend and then play p2 plus 1 in preparation. Now, red will lose control of the situation and black would have the advantage. Now, at this point in time, because a4 plus 5 had been played, let's say if p3 plus, let's say if red captured, he will lose the chariot immediately to this check. So, say moved, for example, I can see that it will now be 1, 2, 3, 4 red pieces versus black's 3 pieces, but black's combination is much better, and the presence of the chariot would mean that black would be on the winning end. Red would have lost the control of the situation. So that is why r2 plus 8 is not a good idea, because this horse was indirectly protected by the cannon. And with p3 plus 1, red would now be placed in a dilemma, because if he traded, he moved, for example, traded pawns and moved, black were able to move his horse for attack and then also protect the horse in this manner. So black would now have a winning position, and black would have red would be all sorts of trouble. So that is why r2 plus 8 is not a good idea. So let us backtrack a little bit. So red will play c5 equals to 4 to adjust his formation in preparation for the trade of pawns. So the trading pawns, r2 equals to 3. Red will now adopt the sandwich horse defense formation and protect his horse in this manner. And black had no qualms about making this move. This is a very clear choice. It will also be a good idea. If black tried to gain material and prevent the horse from moving, red will immediately counter attack. Now with c9 equals to 1, red will be prepared to play c9 equals to 7 and attack this very vulnerable file of black's. So let's say black tried to trade material to prevent this from happening. Red could always play c4 plus 5 to trade material, and this will be a discovered attack. Now red will be more than happy to use one or two moves to trade away cannons, because now the resulting material on the board, we can see that red would have one cannon, one chariot, one horse left from the board. Black would have only two horses and one chariot. In terms of value, both colors would have similar material. However, the presence, the chariot horse cannon combination is considered to be the most potent combination in Xiangqi because of the many possibilities. With the cannon, the tactical combinations involving the chariot and cannon, chariot and horse, were possible. Black would not have this alternative because he did not have a cannon, and red would now be prepared to play c9 equals to 3 to attack this flank. So it is clear that red would have the advantage at this point in time, even though black would have the extra central pawn. So h3 plus 4 is the correct idea. Black tries to pin the horse and the chariot, and black would now prepare move the elephant to the edge file and prepare to play p7+1 to dislodge the red chariot. Black can be optimistic with this situation and still be attacking. This horse cannot move at this point in time, because if it did, p7+1 would happen and there will be a trade of material, and black can be very happy with this situation. So this will end variation A. Now in variation B, red would attack immediately with r2+8. Now as mentioned in variation A, this was quite an aggressive move, as red is prepared to play r2=3 or even r2=7 to attack the horse over here. Now this is a commonly used tactic because red had pushed both pawns, black could not push any pawns, so the horse were more or less sitting ducks. So at this point in time, black again would play a4+5, which is a sound move. Now if he tried to trade chariots to release some pressure, red would gladly do so, but after trading chariots, red will play c=9 to offer a trade of chariots, thus putting black in a dilemma. Black would have to accept the trade of chariots because let's say if he moved away, red will gain material. So, but in accepting the trade of chariots, again, let us see what will happen if red traded chariot. After trading chariots, although material-wise both cards are the same, but red would have much better lines of development for his horses, and black would still have to find ways to try to maneuver his horses to the front lines for attack. So in terms of tempo, red would be far ahead, and that is why this would be very disastrous for black. So that is why a4+5 is a clear move. r1+1 is not a good idea. So h3+4, red starts its attack, and black would play c5=4 to change his formation. Now this would might appear to be cowardly, because now red was prepared to capture the central pawn. But in fact, this would be a steady and sound move. If, let's say, black tried to play p3+1 to trade horses, red would now play c5=3, switch formations, and be attacking this file. There's always a threat of a smothered cannon checkmate, because red had already pushed his chariot forward and the elephant cannot move. So with c5=4, black could always link his cannons up and deal with the threat of a smothered cannon checkmate over here. So c5=4, red continues, links the elephants up, so black would have quite a sound defense at this point in time. Red cannot play c5, r2=3, otherwise black would retreat the cannon and the chariot will be caught. 7+5, red takes his time to consolidate his defense, and now seeing that things are almost right, black would play p3+1. It would not be a good idea to play r2=6, because red will form a fortress along the river bank to protect the horse with his cannon. Black tries to make this move, and red will play r8=7, and now black will not do black any good. He would still not have solved the issue of this horses being undeveloped, and the presence of the cannon on this file will imply that black was always ever ready to make mischief. So p3+1, a sound move. p7+1, red accepts a trade. The horse is protected by the cannon, so red will now take the opportunity to develop his chariot. r1=2. After trading chariots, because there was not much that the chariot could do, red would now retreat this chariot to this open line and now attack this flank. Now this is a very agile tactic, because red had already read the situation on the board very nicely. So black plays h2 plus 3 and r2 plus 8 in the nick of time. Should red try to black try to play r2 equals to 6, the chariot will be protecting it. So red would have the initiative, but black will still have a playable game. So let us have a quick review. Now obviously of these two variations, this was quite an instinctive move that gave black a chance back into the game. And r2 plus 8 was not a good idea because in the end, red would, this would be a better move because after r2 plus 8, red could now adjust his material and position and gain a winning advantage. So this board is quite a good example on showing how to adapt to the situation on the board and then agilely maneuver your material in an agile manner to attack and defend. So let us take a look at this board from the eyes of black. Direction cannons, deferred chariot variation, double-headed stick pawns, h2 equals to 1. This will be different from r1 plus 1 as discussed in the earlier board. And red will play r9 equals to 8 because if h7 plus 8, there's the danger of losing the central pawn. r8 plus 4, preparing to trade pawns. Red refuses and black does not want. He will try to pin. Two main variations. Variation A, c8 equals to 9. Variation B, r2 plus 8. Variation A, red chooses to trade material, but he forgot that black could play r1 equals to 2, so that there will be no loss of momentum. c5 equals to 4. This will be a tactically wise move to try to adjust the position, seeing that his horses are now ready to go. After trading material, red consolidates his defense. h3 plus 4, a good move. Very clear choice. r3 plus 2 is not a good idea because after trading material, black's formation would be rather flimsy, and he would have to use up some moves to try to consolidate them, and the lack of variety, lack of a cannon in this case, will mean that red will have a better combination of material. So 2 plus 5. Black can still have a playable game. He can play p3 plus 1, p7 plus 1 to dislodge the chariot. Variation B, r2 plus 8 for a rapid attack, pinning the third rank and also preparing to go r2 equals to 3. But black would not have to fear. a4 plus 5 is a very powerful, good move. Trading chariots would be unwise because after trading, red will offer a trade of material and black would be placed in a dilemma. If he moved, red would play r8 plus 8, and black would lose their horse. If he did, red would lose material, and because both horses would have good lines for development, black will fall further behind. h3 plus 4. Red takes note of his weakness, this elephant over here. Plays c5 equals to 4. p3 plus 1 is not a good idea because red will start his attack. c5 equals to 3. Both colors consolidate their defense and black tries to trade pawns. If r2 equals to 6 to pin, black would protect, and the chariot would now be prepared to attack. There's also c3 equals to 4, etc. as possible options for red. So p7 plus 1. After trading material, the situation has calmed down. Red will now retreat the chariot, seeing that there's nothing much that the chariot could do over here, and traverse to the other board. Now red will have the initiative, and but black will still have a playable game. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. This will be the last video on the same direction cannons. They are opening Tabia, and I have personally benefited quite a bit from this series. If you I then advise the player or beginners to go over this section several times, because the same direction cannons is one of the most commonly played opening systems by amateurs on over the board play. So if you like the work that I've been doing, please do subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Thank you.